Why is it so hard for us to share the deepest things of our life with the people who mean the most to us? Why is it so hard? Jesus says, I've got this great strategy. I'm going to take all my recently transformed people, I'm going to send them straight back to the people who know them best, and they're just going to say what God has done for them. And we'll see people and families transformed all over the world. What does Jesus want to do with me after he transforms me? Return home and tell them how much God has done for us. Going home for some of us is the hardest thing we can imagine. It's the hardest place to go. Some of you come from anti-Christian homes. It's like your parents don't even know you're a Christian yet. Your siblings don't even know. If they did, they would be livid. You don't even talk religion at your house, right? When you go back for the holidays, religion and politics, taboo. Just don't even bring them up. The thought of you going back and sharing what Jesus has done in your life is inconceivable to you. Some of you come from abusive homes, terribly abusive homes. Some of you are deeply scarred, deeply wounded. You cannot even picture, you can't even imagine what it would look like to go home and tell how much God has done for you. Some of you come from apathetic homes. Your family doesn't even care about you. They've made that very clear. They don't care what's happening in your life. They don't care if good things are happening or bad things are happening. If you were to go home and share your story, the response would be, whatever. It's like, what's the point? That's what you're thinking. Some of you are from academic homes. Really, really smart people in your family. You've actually tried to do this a couple times. And you've started to share what Jesus has done to you, and they've brought up all these arguments, and you had no idea what to do, and the thought of doing it again is absolutely terrifying. The fact of the matter is, almost practically everyone in this room would look at me and say, Pete, that's a great idea for other people. But my family, I think I would find myself in the living room, and I would have no idea what to say. Okay, so we come back to the very theme of our series, remember? If Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever, which of course he is, and if Jesus indwells believers at the moment of conversion, which he does, and if we surrender to him, he will live his life, he will express himself through us. Listen, that means when we are surrendered to him, our life on earth today will look like his life in the Gospels. And listen to what Jesus promises us in Luke's Gospel, chapter 21, verse 14. Listen to this. Imagine yourself, if you have to close your eyes, do it. Imagine yourself going up your driveway, going in that front door of your house where your family lives, sitting down in the front living room, all the little knickknacks on the shelves. You remember the knickknacks? They're all there on the shelves. You can smell food cooking in the kitchen, and your heart is pounding because you're going to tell them what Jesus has done in your life, and you don't know where to start. And the Holy Spirit speaks these words into your heart, straight from Luke's Gospel. Jesus said, make up your mind not to worry beforehand how you will defend yourselves. For I will give you words, I will give you wisdom that none of your adversaries will be able to resist or contradict. The Jesus who lives in us will give us words. And they'll come back with something that we won't know how to handle. And the Jesus who lives in us will give us wisdom. Here's what Jesus says. I just want you to go, get in the room, be available, and let me take it from there. You're like, Pete, that's terrifying. I know. That's why it requires a little faith. Some of you are still not convinced. Some of you are like, that's fine, Pete, for most of the people here, but if you knew my family, well, let me share with you my second story.